The teams are out then for the third and final test between the Wallabies and the British and Irish Lions, and yeah, some interesting selections. It will not be a series decider. There's pride on the line for the Wallabies. There's a 3-0 whitewash on the line for the Lions. But there's, some interesting calls in selection. I'd be very interested to know if you would have done what Joe Schmidt and Andy Farrell have done and what you would do differently. Let me know, please, in the chat down below. You join me here on the northern beaches in Sydney. I've never been to Australia before, so never been to Sydney before. I love this part of Sydney. So the city is just over there. You can just see a rainbow over my shoulder. You see the surfers have just been out. Well, they still are in many cases. This is probably a good point to mention. I have another channel which I am launching right now called Egg Chasers IRL. Now, I do a lot of travelling around rugby. Travel is a big part of rugby, whether it's going to an away game, going to a match, visiting a new city, a new country. And so much of what I experience I'm not able to share on this channel. So I've started up a new one so I can kind of delve into all those areas around and even outside of rugby. So Egg Chasers IRL, I'll put a link in the description. I would really, really love it if you would go and subscribe there. Go and have a watch. I'll make sure episode 1 is up, and there'll be much more coming from Australia, and I'm going to South Africa on Monday as well, so I'll have loads coming from that trip too. So back to the rugby, obviously that's why I'm here. Oh, look at that rainbow over my shoulder, just amazing. So minimal changes, which is not surprising given it's Andy Farrell. That's how he operates, really. That's how he's always operated with Ireland, and it continues now with the Lions. No sentiment here. There's lots of players that you think, well, they've won the series, will he give them a game? I'm thinking immediately of guys like Josh van der Fleer. What an incredible player he's been. Got on his first Lions tour. He's been a former World Player of the Year. He's going to finish his career, most likely, never having been a Test Lion, which just goes to show what an amazing achievement it is for anyone that does run out in that jersey in a Test match for the Lions, because there are some wonderful players that aren't getting there. Also, you think in terms of sentiment, Mac Hansen is fit and available, not involved. He's from Australia. Same with Sione Tuipulotu. And no sentiment here from Andy Farrell. He's going for the jugular. And do you know what? I kind of, as much as I feel sorry for those players, I also get it, because with all the furore that there was over that last moment decision, the final try in the second test, if the Lions don't win this game, if Australia win, there will be in the minds of many a little asterisk over this series. Oh, the Lions only won it because of a dodgy decision. It was while the Wallabies beat them in the third test, they would have won the series. I almost think in a funny way that the end of the game in Melbourne has provided more motivation for the Lions than it has for the Wallabies. Because I think the Lions are thinking, well, no, we'll show you. We didn't win that because of a referee call. We won that because we were the better team. And it was a brilliant comeback from the Lions. Bear with me. I'm going to have to try and hop over this this gap whilst recording. So, bear with me. Hold on. Whoa. There we go. Just in case I fell, I thought I'd turn the camera around so you couldn't see that. So what are the changes then? Well, one in the backs. James Lowe is dropped. Blair Kinghorn starts. I get that as well, because James Lowe has not been great. In fact, by his very, very high standards, and he is a superb player, James Lowe's been poor. Blair Kinghorn showed some glimpses last week, made a couple of errors, did some really nice things, lovely breaks. I think change in the back three had to come. I guess I'm only surprised it's only one change in the back three. Thought there could have been more. Mac Hansen is fit and available, but Tommy Freeman keeps his place. Hugo Keenan as well had a good game on reflection. I think he had a bad first half and a really good second half. Overall had a decent game, so probably deserves to stay there. Gary Ringrose, how unlucky. Talk about unlucky guys and people you feel for. Gary Ringrose, how unlucky is he? It's just started to rain here. Perfect timing. Firstly, what a bloke Gary Ringrose is for admitting he's not fit and well enough, and he still has concussion symptoms, and so he shouldn't play. Another guy that's in his first British and Irish Lions series after a brilliant career. It's probably, possibly, likely, maybe going to be his last, his one and only. Well, we'll wait and see. You can see him making it in 4 years' time, potentially. maybe outside. Oh, it's really raining now. I'm gonna have to find some shelter. I'll keep going through the team. Oh, bloody hell! I'm gonna put my hood up. Oh, this is not. I didn't plan this. Yeah. So what a guy, and he's not going to be a Test Lion. Hugh Jones and Bundy Aki might feel slightly fortunate as a pair. I wasn't sure about that combination, but Andy Farrell is persisting with them. Am I going to get any shelter under this tree? Maybe a little bit, maybe enough. Let's see, shall we? So yeah, other than that, the same back line. No centre on the bench. It's a 6-2 split. Owen Farrell getting the nod. Who would have predicted that? Actually, I mean, many people predicted Owen Farrell would be eventually in the squad and eventually in the team. He's on the bench again with, in a 6-2 split. And I guess there is lots of players to cover. Ben Earl is another player in that 6-2 split. He can cover centre. Hugh Jones can switch onto the wing. Blair Kinghorn can play anywhere. Tommy Freeman can slot in. So they're well covered. It's fine. Not a problem there. What a story Alex Mitchell is. He's been involved in every single match day squad in every single game on tour. Has that happened before? Certainly in the modern professional era, I can't imagine that's ever happened. And it's just a shame he didn't even get on for like 30 seconds last week so he could say he's played in every game, because what an amazing tour for Alex Mitchell. And then to the pack, as I say, a 6-2 split. Interesting calls here. James Ryan starting, Ollie Chesham to the bench, but Joe McCarthy was available. That's a really, really interesting call as well from Andy Farrell. James Ryan has since he's got a run of games, since he's been back fit, he has just gone around smashing rucks and smashing people. And every team I've ever played in, there is one guy like that does not get the highlight reels, does not win the man of the matches, but do you know what they end up winning? They win like player of the season, because other players on that team absolutely recognise and massively value the job that player does for the team, and James Ryan is one of those guys, so fair play to him. I mentioned on the videos last week, I thought he was superb off the bench. He's obviously been putting it about in training. He's got himself a Test start. That is amazing for a guy who is very often overlooked. For Australia then, headlines there, enforced changes due to injuries to Bobby V, to Alan Alatoa, two key players, to Harry Potter, who's looked really sharp in this series when he was playing, obviously went off early in the second test. So changes enforced. Nick White is maybe one of the stories that maybe there is a case for sentiment in this game, not from Andy Farrell, but yes, from Joe Schmidt, who is picking Nick White in his last game of rugby union ever. And I want an amazing moustache, and I want a classic bit of Nick White shithousery before he hangs up his boots. What a player he has been over the years. Big loss, no 7A, and Tom Robertson off the bench means both of the tight head props involved in the second test aren't there. Taniela Tupou is, and I wonder if that is maybe some recognition that Joe Schmidt maybe. I think when the dust settles on this series, I think there's going to be regrets about the decisions that weren't made, the players that weren't picked. The rain has stopped, so I'm going to come out. I mean, obviously Skelton and Bobby V weren't totally fit in that first test, but maybe you could have risked it a little bit because they made a massive impact in the second. And now maybe it's the case that, you know what, Taniela Tupou, he's that kind of a guy. We saw in the First Nations Pacifica game what he is capable of. And when he delivers, he's very, very special. Langy Gleeson stays on the bench with Tom Hooper coming in to start because Bobby V is not available. Sorry, as Sean Maloney would say, Bobby V. And Dylan Peach in for Harry Potter. I'd say it's about as strong as Australia can select. If I was doing a combined team very quickly, and now look, if I were picking a combined team generally, I would pretty much go for the British and Irish Lions in maybe all but one or two positions. If I was just doing it based on the form in this tour, let's do it on that. Based on tests 1 and 2, what would your combined team be? You had to pick who's played best in the first two tests. So I would go for the Lions front row, 1 to 3. I'd go with Toji, Now it's Ryan starting this week, not Chesham. Based on what he did in the first half last week, if I were picking, I'd pick Skelton and Itoje, knowing that I had guys like Chesham and Ryan that could come off the bench, because Skelton will be absolutely blowing after 40 minutes. And then back row, I would have Harry Wilson, Tom Curry, and Tyburn. It would have to be. So yeah, a couple of Aussies in that pack. In the back line, if I was just picking on form from the first 2 tests, I would go... see, Jake Gordon's not in this one, so I thought he's been quite good. I'd go Jameson Gibson-Park, Finn Russell. Centres, I would go both the Aussies. Ikitau and Suaalii have impressed me. Make a couple of errors in defence, but I think they've been better than the Lions guys. On the wings, I'd go Jorgensen and... Well, I'm sort of left with the guys that are there. I'd go Jorgensen and Freeman, because it's weird, isn't it? There's not been many tries scored by wingers or many big outside back wing performances. And full-back, Tom Wright. So that goes to show the Wallabies have actually been pretty good in the back line. They just haven't had that oomph up front. And they've lost a bit of it for this weekend. So I think it will be... Oh my goodness me, look at this. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think it'll be a Lions win. I've seen a bunch of Lions fans up and down the northern beaches today, in Manly, here in DY, further up in Palm Beach. That is just stunning. It's one of those days I wish I knew how to surf. Oh, I love it. I love it here. I really do. Even in the winter. This is the winter. Look, another reason, just to remind you, I've got another channel launching right now called Egg Chasers IRL, where I will cover all of my trip around Australia and South Africa in a couple of weeks, and then just general rugby travel, France, up and down England, the UK, all over the world. Yeah, I just want to be able to share with you some of the things I see, some of the people I meet, some of the stuff I get up to, and yeah, another place you can support the channel there. Egg Chasers IRL is live now. Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one.